Observer's Log. This is from 60,000 light years. We're still enjoying Star Trek Starfleet Academy on a weekly basis right now. Hey, we got new Star Trek. Again, be prepared. Spoilers ahead. Red alert. I am one of your observers, Jake Clark. The other observer, Eric Berry, better known as Trekkie B47. We are getting into episode 5, series Acclimation Mill. Again, spoilers ahead.
Red
Spoilers
alert.
ahead. This is on first watch. This was my favorite episode of the series for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
It's more of a personal favorite. Like episode 4 is a Star Trek favorite for me. This is a
Yes.
more personal favorite, but it's still
It's
fucking excellent.
it's also it's also a personal favorite for me because how I cried during this episode.
I haven't made it through once without crying yet. It's every damn time. And so here's the contradiction. While episode 4 is my
Yeah.
favorite probably of the series so far, and is a top tier Star Trek episode, probably top 20 easy. This is my favorite. This is easy a top 10 episode. And
I think
depending on
for all time.
yes, and depending on the day, it could be top 5. I'm not playing any games. Just I forgot about the Cisco mystery, and when they finally got to it in this episode, I said, "Oh," because I was
Because
watching.
I
Yeah.
remember when the first images and the first trailers were coming through, and there was a shot from
Yep.
this episode of Sam looking at the Cisco screen, and we're like, "Oh, is that just some background Easter egg thing?"
What are they gonna do
No,
with it? What are they gonna do with it?
it's the whole freaking episode.
And to realize they were doing that, because one thing I would note here is this show is taking full advantage of its runtime. These episodes are
Oh,
averaging 59 minutes,
thank
and
you, thank you, Star Trek, for using
yeah,
the streaming format
I
properly.
Yeah, I would say they are doing that well. And so far, one of the things I enjoy is again they're trying to tell story naturally. So some folks are going to complain. It takes them a minute till you really get into the heart of what the story is going to
Sure.
be about. AKA just like in episode 4, it took them not too long, but it took them a minute to get to the plot. Like, oh, okay, the Klingon Empire is about to die out, and that's the issue we're dealing with. Me and my wife were watching this episode, and she was a little sleepy, so she might have been trying to take a nap.
Sure.
We get to the point where they're like, "Oh, I'm going to solve the Cisco mystery." She sat up and let me sit up because she knew I was going to be on cloud 50 million with that because she know who Cisco is. Before we get that, so
Yeah.
off jump, we know this is Sam's story. Again, they're playing with it. The intro
They're playing
screen,
with the titles.
playing
Yeah.
with the title. It's fun. It's different, but it fits Sam's personality. Emissary, you say? Um, Cla-
As soon as they, because that is such a specific term in Star
yes,
Trek.
yes.
And it's one thing to say ambassador, but to say emissary, that is such a specific word. And the first time I heard it in this episode, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Because that is so specific.
Yep. You get the Koinonians. I can't. The Koinonians vomiting glitter.
Keonians.
I'm a work.
The
We got
the
new races.
banana allergy is hilarious.
Priority 1 mission challenges. Great. The Orion detecting pheromones. Natural comedy that works. And again, this perspective from Sam. The semester's almost over, which I'm guessing, based on how things left off after episode 6, episode 7 might be the start of the spring semester. And then, yes, Benjamin motherfucking Lafayette
Lafayette
Sis.
Cisco.
We are getting, and again, I said I had completely forgotten about it because I once stuff starts kind of getting out there too much, I try to stay away from it just because I want to
Yeah.
experience the show. And so I had completely forgotten about it. And as you said, oh, we're getting the whole episode around this. Fuck yeah.
Dude, it's this is insane to me because the level of detail. First off, I will say props to the writers Kristen Bear and
And
Tawny
Tawny
Newsome.
Newsome.
And
Oh.
we're going to talk about Tawny in a minute because holy effing balls.
Woo!
But the two of them, Kristen Bear especially, she's been more of like the canon connectivity for all of the new Star Trek series. I think she's been pretty much an executive producer / writer on Picard and most of them.
Give that woman the blank check. Don't you let her go. This is how you use and incorporate legacy. Don't you let that woman out the building.
Everything about this episode, the detail from the writing to the props, that as soon as Commander or Captain Ake said the Cisco Museum, and we can tour it virtually because it's the 32nd century and holograms are just, every detail was there. Either they contacted people for some original props, or give that prop department a goddamn medal if they recreated some of this stuff.
That uniform had to be original. That uniform had to be. It had to be. It had to be. It had
the fit. It had
the wornness to it. That was worn.
Because they tried to replicate the First Contact uniforms on other.
And it don't come out quite right.
And they don't come out. They don't do the pleating right. Because in Picard season 3, they gave Riker that one, and it had like the extra bit here, which I hated. That's a dumb variant. But I always notice that because that's one of my favorite costumes ever, and they never get the pleating right. And so when Cisco's uniform is just like framed there, I'm like, that has to be the original prop. That has to be the original costume.
And I love how this is, again, as much as we are waxing on and off about this, I love how there is a reason for Sam to be interested in the Cisco mystery. Because one of the main complaints I saw before was the season started, people were like, oh, the Cisco mystery. What's Cisco mystery? We know he died. We know, he's in the Celestial Temple. We know what happened to him and Dukat. We know. Yes, we know.
But the rest of the Federation, and Bajor does
not know. Treat this universe like a living thing. And it makes perfect sense for Sam to be interested because she's only 4 months old. She's still learning, and in learning who she is, especially in relation to these people, and they called her emissary. Oh, he's an emissary. What can I learn from him? What can I get from you? That is a perfect setup. It's not forced.
It's natural.
Yes. Oh. Like, that's how you set up. And then, like, you have Jaden in the beginning, when after she's decided she's talking to the table, he asked in the beginning of the story with some of the details, he's like, hey, define in this context what this means. Important questions that somebody should ask in the moment. And it's like, yes, giving enough backstory for those who may be new to Trek. Hey, if you're new to Trek, watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Cisco is the man.
And I love that it's presented because she's learning things and also trying to give them the rundown. It's a children's book. It's a Bajoran children's book because this is their legend. This is their mythology. This is their religious.
They don't even show his image. He's just a shadow because he's
Jesus
to them. Yes.
He literally died, not for their sins, but he died. I mean, it's
allegory, maybe?
Allegory, you say, in Star Trek?
Nah.
And I love it. It's so innocent when she goes to meet the Bajoran Club and she accidentally says, yeah, your religion, your crazy religion or stories or whatever. And then immediately shot with...
You're in trouble.
In front of the Chancellor. I almost bust a gut because it's like the instant, like, you did something stupid, but it treats the Bajoran religion respectfully, but it's still an allegory for today because it treats religion with respect. And also, like, did it happen? Was it really happen? Is it all made up? who cares? An entire people have based their faith around it, and that deserves a level of respect.
So this
Tough
episode,
questions. Tough questions.
hey, we're going to be talking about some of the
Yeah.
questions that get asked in these episodes in a collaboration with For All Nerds. So definitely check that out. We'll let y'all know when that gets posted because this show is asking questions as we've been telling you about, and it's finally getting to them. And again, we told you you gotta get through that early part. The ride is in full swing here, and when
Yes.
I tell you it's in full swing here, this episode starts playing with you because I am sitting there watching this episode like, oh my god, like you, they are going to do something. You get the set like you are building up, and I am not gonna lie, I was like, oh my god, are we? Are they? And I'm thinking like is Avery about to come back? Because if you know about Star Trek, Cisco and Avery's relationship with Cisco and the work he feels, he feels it's a closed book. You don't see him on the circuits with Star Trek. He's very private man, like which is understandable. What like he says a lot about it, and I'm not mad, but I'm like, ooh, they're teasing us. I have never been more impressed in a letdown than I was in this episode. They let me down. We did not get Avery, but when
But we got the next best person.
not next best, I actually think
Oh,
it
the
is.
best.
Let's put it this way. Let's say Avery was open to coming back, or whatever it was. Let's just say like it wasn't this distance thing. Sirach Lofton as Jake Sisko is the better choice because of what they do with the story. It makes it
Yes.
that much better. Even if Avery was open, I'm like, yes, Sirach is the better choice here. We get Sirach Lofton as an older adult Jake Sisko.
Specifically from a speech that he gave in 2409, which is after Picard season 3. So we're getting our quote unquote legacy, but we're also getting almost like a sequel to The Visitor.
Well, not just the visitor. So, spoiler, if you've never watched Deep Space Nine, there's an all-time great episode called The Visitor. All-time great. It's a tearjerker. Still fucks
Oh,
me up to this day. Like,
I will say, as someone who watched that episode right after watching this one, don't do it if you have daddy issues and or unless you want to cry a lot. Like if
you
you
are
want
a
to cry a lot, watch this episode, watch The Visitor back to back. You're gonna freaking lose it.
sucker for pain. Sucker for
Yeah.
pain there. And so, the visitor essentially, in short story, is Jake Sisko loses his dad, Benjamin Sisko, in a tragic accident. And he pops in every now and then, but essentially he goes through life always trying to get his dad back and essentially kills himself at the end of this, what is believed to see or seems to be a decently happy and successful life as a writer, kills himself so that he detects, because his dad is attached to him in a way through these points of time, so that his dad is released and goes back to his younger
The
self,
original
the
timeline.
original timeline, to be there to raise Jake. Touching story. 3 years later, essentially, the show ends on the same premise. Benjamin Sisko dies in a disappearance, saving the universe, or at least the system, in defeating Gul Dukat from the Paw Wraiths. And the series ends, literally closes out with Jake Sisko standing at the mirror, looking at the wormhole. And it's one of the things that's kind of left like, yeah, this man lost his father again only 3 years later. Would he be okay? Because we know he wouldn't have been 3 years earlier.
Right.
And here we are getting to hear from Jake Sisko. And the quote that is here from this scene, if our choices determine who we are, what determines our choices? What we love.
Just so the first time I shed a tear watching this episode was just the fact that we got Sirach Lofton back as Jake. Because he's been active since D Space Nine. He has his own podcast. He's, watched Star Trek beyond D Space Nine. He is a Trekkie. He's involved with the community. And the fact that the producers recognized that they were able to get him back, it it's all about waiting for the right opportunity. And to me, this is perfect legacy Star Trek. This is a way to connect and solve those mysteries. And I literally cried when I saw him back. First, because I couldn't believe it that he was back. But at the same time, I was like, oh man, I just lost my father last year. And now you guys are doing this to me because now I'm at the point where Jake is in his life raising his children. And I'm raising my child without my dad. And I'm like, and it's the same for you too. And it like stabs you right in the heart. And I'm like, I wish my dad was here so I could watch this episode with him.
Oh, damn it, Eric. Oh, yes.
I know, I'm sorry. This is the perfect episode.
It's good. And we're like, they brought back Jake Sisko in a way that makes sense too. It's literally a hologram of the exhibit. So it's not some wacky doodle type. No, it's literally an exhibit in the museum, a hologram projection of this speech.
Of a speech.
It gets in and out. Beautiful. Okay, the episode continues on. Yeah, having some fun. I love they're trying a bunch of food because Sam is learning about Sisko and what made him the man. And so, of course, you know about Sisko and his peppers and his tomatoes, and the man can make a mean gumbo. I love Jaden's quote here: "My mouth is on fire, and I never want it to go out."
It made me hungry for gumbo.
And then, quick pause there because we have the dinner again. This show is doing a great job with the adults and the kids storyline. So Sam it's really focused on the kids and this professor who is in this class that she's trying to get into, and the way she's trying to get into is solve the mystery Sisko. But what we have here is a follow up on this relationship between Captain Ake and the leader of the War College. Who is that? Reoccurring. Where are they? Don't have it. Anywho, with the chancellor of the War College, and you kind of get the whole. This is where the connection thing comes in because they're asking about the whole plants from the prank warrants in episode 3, and so it's like we're seeing those tissues,
and he's dealing with his own issues with this ambassador from an alien species who's very strict on protocol. Great dinner scene with some of the senior crew with the doctor and the doctor hamming it up like the doctor does.
I need more scenes with the doctor
and Jet Reno
interacting.
Yes,
because the two of them together are hilarious.
They are two of the most sarcastic people, and it's that humor. And to see them go head to head in this,
because it's two different types of sarcasm.
Oh my God.
Hers is the "I'm just here" kind of sarcasm, and his is the like, "Yeah, I'm here" sarcasm. And it's those different vibes of sarcasm. Oh my God, it's just hilarious, but all at the same time building again characters and relationships between these people at the table, but also between the Starfleet Academy and the War College, and these two, like, to where it breaks down to where we get some of the conflict. He's not being trustworthy because he doesn't know how he can trust her because she abandoned Starfleet. And so again,
that was the question of it. That was the heart of the question of their B storyline.
Yep.
And that's why I'm so glad, to an earlier point, that's why I'm so glad these episodes are like a full 60 minutes. Because you have enough room for these stories to breathe, even the smaller B story.
Yep.
I enjoyed the B story as much as the A story. Well, maybe not that much, but I could have used more Sisko, but no, I thought it struck a good balance with what they did.
And so we're continuing. Sam's trying to discover more about Sisko, so we get the chance. They go to a bar because Sisko would go to this bar, and I need them to have the merch. I love how we're getting the hoodie,
the
jacket. It's from when they where's the merch?
All I want fan sets to do, give me the communicator that they have. That's the Athena. I know that's coming. I'm sure that is going to happen, but I need it. I need it now.
I want that hoodie.
My
Take
God,
my money. I
I
want that hoodie.
and it's a shame. It's a shame that Hero Within, who has been or who has had the Star Trek license, who did like the jackets and all that stuff. I'm very sad that they passed on the license this year because it was too much from Paramount, because they would have made an exact replica of that jacket. And I'm like, you guys, you had the licensor to do it. Yeah, I want a varsity jacket.
So they're at this bar having a good time. I love how we get the Jaden relationship with the War College cadet. Hey, it's natural. Yep. It's gay and it's not being treated as non-normative. It's also not being spotlighted. It's just cadets interacting outside. Love it. Did Cisco start riots? I don't know about. Hilarious.
That's if you know, you
If you
know.
know, you know. Sam, or not Sam. Let me do this right. It is Carice Brooks playing Sam carries this episode.
I've
The
never had a more fun time of someone being drunk than with her being drunk. Or like it's
so
great.
all the all the all the quirks, all the little intricacies of who Sam is, like Carice is just it
And
looks effortless, but I know it's not.
and from what I read like in interviews and like things about it, they were so impressed with her acting. They they loved like her ad lib and her personality,
Hmm.
that they tailored the character to her, and
Great job.
so great. And she is phenomenal in this episode, from the funny moments to the serious ones. 100% great acting. And I love that. I mean, this episode is so packed. The fact that Jaden can go into her code and change things for her, give her the ability to taste, to drink, that her
Appearance.
that her race, her makers left out because they thought it was superfluous to her mission.
Right. Of because the whole thing is she's on a mission from this race of photonics to kind of you're the emissary to see if it's okay for us to interact. And so you're at this school and they put her on a deadline to get this task done. And so that's what she's trying to do. The relationship you get a little bit between Tarima and Caleb here. So again, everybody's relationships. Again, you're touching on it. It's not a UYA show, but these are pieces of it. It fits great. Have your moment.
Bar fight.
Bar fight, hilarious, hilarious.
And she just goes for it. She's like, for Cisco. And
right.
I'm like,
Yes,
oh
I
my
would punch somebody for Cisco too. I'm right there with you, Sam. We're in the infirmary, and again, we get a great tease from the doctor. The say because I forget she's asking about I forget what exactly Sam is asking about, and I don't really know if it was specifically loss, but he responds about it where he says the same way we all learn to get over it and move on.
Oh, because
I
he was disappointed in
Right.
her.
Oh yes, right, yeah. And so yeah, how do we get and so he's like, and there is a darkness again, I cannot wait to learn more about what the doctor has gone through because there is yeah, you've lost all your friends. There's something there, and they are hinting on it too much. I cannot wait to see what we go through. Okay, um, let's get to it because this is where, yeah, this is the top 5 episode of all time. It may not sound like it yet, and here is why. So, Sam can't solve the mystery of Cisco. Quite understandable. This professor, who she's class trying to get into, gives her a book. Says, "Here, read this. It'll help." It's Anselm.
Anselm.
Anselm. Never
And
published.
again, connecting to the visitor, and we know that Jake has always been destined to write this book. In the timeline that doesn't exist, he published it. Great success. He was able to retire, but his life was unfulfilled. In this timeline, we find out he never published it and was okay with it to
And
live his life.
and the title literally means father. Like it's a tribute to father. Like it's connected to father.
Oh man.
So Sirach makes a second appearance.
And to be clear, I was fine with the first
What the one?
appearance.
I said, oh, okay, okay.
I was fine with the first appearance.
Same here. It was already
But
good. The episode was already good from that point.
but the fact that they established that she can go into these moments of time, much like Cisco in the Celestial Temple, she can experience these from a holographic when she was communicating with her makers. But now, I don't know, maybe the book had some holographic stuff.
Well,
We don't know.
we've already seen that she can interact with things, and
Yes.
so because even he he directly he directly asks, it directly gets brought up because she's like, "Are you just going to disappear when I close this book?" And he's like, "I don't know. You're controlling." Like it's the show is dealing with it, but this moment here, again, an intimate conversation, and it's this starts what I would call maybe possibly the best 7 minutes of Star Trek that you might ever see. I timed it. This start, and I'll tell you where those 7 minutes end. So the scene here,
I actually agree with you.
right? So we get this conversation between Sam and Jake Sisko, who is being essentially projected from the words in this book. So this book that Jake Sisko wrote about his father, who this professor gives to people when they need it, and they proceed to have a conversation around.
Are you gonna pick up on the same thing I just thought of?
I know, cause I well, let's what's that?
Because you have something in the note here, the hey sis.
Yeah, so yeah, let me get so
Okay, sorry.
there's a couple different there's levels to
There's
that. Levels to this
yes.
episode. Okay. Um let me let you go first here.
Okay.
This scene, sir. Jake Sisko and Sam.
I cried all over again because he's literally talking about what the loss of his father meant to him.
Mm.
And it's been 8 months. When the time of this episode releases, it'll probably be closer to 9 months since my father has passed. There is not a day that goes by that I don't think of him. And the reason, and maybe this is for you too, the reason that this is the best 7 minutes is because I feel like it's speaking directly to me.
Mm.
Or to anyone who has lost a father who had that relationship with their father. And I always love the relationship of Sisko and Jake because I always love stories about father and son stories. They always get me. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, my favorite Indiana Jones movie, because it's a father and son. Like, my dad got me into Star Trek. My dad got me into Indiana Jones. My dad got me into so many things. And so now that he's gone, it hits me so much more deeply. And I thank everyone involved in making this episode for speaking to me and to speaking to everyone who has lost a father. Because the speech and that conversation that Jake and Sam have has hit me like an Acme anvil. It hit me right in the heart, and I was sobbing. I was sobbing through this whole thing because I know Sirach acted the fuck out of that. And he did it from a place of love for this franchise and a love for Avery Brooks,
Yes.
who was his father,
A father figure, yes.
like a second father to him, if not primary father, and it crushed me in all the best ways emotionally. It crushed me, and it gave me a new perspective, which is what Star Trek should always do. And I walked away so happy. I was sad, but I was also happy for this episode existing. And if this series gets canceled tomorrow, and if the world ends tomorrow, I'll be happy that I have watched this episode. And that's why this is like top 5 for me. And now I will let you speak your piece, because holy shit, man. I thought of you watching this, because I'm like, my man Jason loves Cisco and loves that relationship, and it.
So, okay, there's levels to this. Yes, it's the father thing, and I'm already crying. But there's also well, let me start with the father thing, because yes, it's been 9.5, no, 8.5 years since my father passed. Again, like you, we've talked. Check out some of our interrupts. We talk about the
Yes.
importance. And Deep Space Nine for me was like my coming into age trek. That's one I was really coming into. But also, so, and also on a level, like my dad was very protective of the images his children consumed. We couldn't watch The Simpsons growing up. Like we couldn't watch a show with a bad father figure. So not only is it Star Trek, it's Star Trek with a black dad and a black father. So in the midst of the 90s, which all the stereotypes and messages out there, and thinking about it, please correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think I am not counting here black targeted shows. What I mean by that is Fresh Prince, Family Matters, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, sitcom shows. Outside of New York Undercover, I do believe Avery Brooks is the only black male lead in this era of a drama show, mainstream drama show.
Drama, and you're right.
Is there
not
any other
sitcom?
not sitcom.
Drama.
Drama,
Yes.
and this is mainstream. This ain't a black
for
targeted
the
sitcom.
90s. For all of the 90s, yes.
Yeah. So
Benjamin Sisko is it.
and so Avery Brooks needs some respect put on his name because,
Yep.
and like I said, Deep Space Nine is not a black targeted show. It's just a mainstream show. You got this relationship between father and son. And so, yes, I lost my father the week I found out me and my wife were pregnant. And that's a long story. We've talked about that. I'm not going to get into the details here. When he hit that quote, that line, all those things you think he missed, he didn't. He was always there. He never left us. I can't prove it, but I know it's true.
God. Dude.
I'm breaking down now. Like I was like, oh, because I wish my father got the chance to meet my son, his grandson. It hit me. And then also, like I said, this is like a almost like in the way that Unification 3 was to Unification, TNG, and Discovery. This is like the third part. So yes, we saw what happened when Jake lost his father early. We don't know what happened when Jake lost his father second, but we know what was different was that his father's new wife was pregnant with his brother, who he probably now had to step into as a father figure and raise, which gave him purpose to go forward.
Or if you follow the comments, his sister, but whatever.
Yes, but we don't know. Whatever. But a
know.
child that he had to step in and raise without this man. Mike, when you talk about talking directly to me, my God. So I'm okay. I've made it. That's one of the things about grief. There are good days and there's bad days, but I'm making it, pushing through. But to learn that this character is making it too, that you can make it, that it is okay. My God. That's...
And it almost completes this emotional trilogy of The Visitor, What You Leave Behind, and now series Acclimation Mill. And
can I go a little deeper though?
Go deeper.
Okay. Levels.
Yes.
Carice Brooks is African American. Again, as I mentioned, this relationship between Benjamin Sisko and Jake Sisko was special because yes, you weren't getting these quality, positive, especially in mainstream non-black targeted media, of a good black father-son relationship. Hell, we still struggle to get that to this day.
Yep.
So we had this example, and even leaning into the trope a little bit, he still has to live life a little bit because he lost his daddy. Great. People can relate to those types of things. So here we have him. And so, yes, I picked up on that. Jake Sisko starts off this conversation. Hey, sis. Now, I know where you're going with that.
Well, I also know where you're going with it. But 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 that's the levels that we're talking about. I'm coming from the fact that if this is the holographic representation of Anselm and someone is having a conversation, he's also talking to his sister, to Sisko's second child with Cassidy, that grew up without his father.
Mm-hmm.
So he saved Anselm for his sister.
Which also makes sense because it's which we'll touch on in the end in a second.
But hey sis has your meaning.
It's African American colloquial. This is this moment here. As black people, and I believe as other people looking for all their representation, we want to see it on the screen, but we don't want it to be, hey, this is that moment, or hey, we're blackity black, or hey, here's a gay moment, or hey, here's for your Pacific Islanders, or whatever it may be. Here's this. You don't want that. You just want to be incorporated naturally. And so for this moment to happen here, and it's not lost on me, and hopefully it's not lost on other viewers, that yes, it is.
It wasn't lost on me. I saw that double meaning.
Great. Because you literally then have this man, this black man, helping this black woman out, this black sister out, to find herself, discover her purpose. And so that was just like that, hey, sis.
That had weight to it. Also, thank you, Tawny Newsome, and thank you for having black women writers in the writer's room writing episodes, because this is where representation matters.
Yep.
This is the perfect example of representation.
Because that moment does not work with any other cadet in the same way.
Nope.
It doesn't. And so to have that moment there, which is a black as hell moment, but for it not to be like, but it just to be this, oh man, it's.
When you said that this is the best 7 minutes of Star Trek, it is.
Because it's funny. So that scene is about 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
I was like, oh, no. I was like, this is best.
But wait, they're not fucking more. Done.
But wait, there's more. I had the question when she got the book from the professor in my own head. I was like, wait, how did the teacher get this book? And I love, again, the show being real and treating these characters and the environment as real. Sam asked this professor, hey, where'd you get this from?
Also, I couldn't find out that you said that Sisko grew tomatoes in his quarters. I didn't see that in all my research, because you know she went crazy deep in this research. Oh, yeah. They make it a point in the episode. So I'm like, I had a feeling, but I didn't know they would go there.
I didn't. And so again, I had never been more disappointed in the episode in a way, thinking I was going to get one thing, only for them to keep aggravating it out. So not only do we get 2 appearances from Sirach Lawson as Jake Sisko, we get the character of Dax,
played by Tawny Newsome.
And I was not recognized. The first watch, I did not recognize that this was Tawny Newsome. I was that engrossed in the story. I didn't know it until the credits rolled and it said guest starring Tawny Newsome. I said, who? Where? And then I was like, oh yeah.
It was halfway through my first watch where I'm like, God, that voice sure is familiar. Oh, wait a minute. That's Tawny Newsome. Because like when it was like the tomato scene, when they're discussing the tomatoes, there's enough mannerisms like in her voice where I'm like, that's Tawny Newsome. And it makes sense because she wrote the episode, but also she was on the blue carpet in the cast photo. And so I'm like, is Beckett Mariner making an appearance? But as soon as the voice hit me, because I know her mainly from The Voice, and I could hear that voice through the makeup, I'm like, God damn it. But to find out
that
she's
Professor
Dax.
This is
She's
how you
Dax.
fucking use legacy and legacy characters. Trouble
And
for the right reasons.
that Dax has been carrying Jake's book for over 600 years or 700 years, whatever, is so incredible. And Discovery also, in the Trill episode of Discovery, they said that while rare, the symbiotes can live over 1,000 years.
And here we go. We got the Dax symbiote still alive and kicking as a professor at Starfleet
And
Academy.
all she did, she
Just
pulled the hair
yeah,
back.
just pulled it back.
And there's the and she is a hybrid, because as we
Yep.
go further,
Cardassian, it looks like too, don't it? Is the Cardassian somewhere in there? Maybe I don't.
maybe I wasn't picking up on that. I thought, oh,
I
kind
just
of
with some of the
yeah. But how poetic would that be?
again layers and levels. So that's when I was like, at the end of the scene, I was like, scratch that. The best 7 minutes of Star Trek I may have ever seen.
And I started crying again because, not because Tawny Newsome was coming back for another character, but the fact that Dax was coming back. That Dax is still around. And the more I thought about it after watching it and my second rewatch, I was like, the way that Tawny Newsome played this version of Dax leaned a little bit more in the Jadzia category.
Oh yeah,
with the style of speech and the reservedness. I was like, oh yeah, she's
good.
There's a bit of Jadzia in there.
I would love to know what came first in this scenario: this script or the casting of Carice as Sam. Because again, I'd like to know whether it was tailored for some of these levels or simply it was just. I'd love to know which one came first.
I really hope we get more behind the scenes.
Yeah, we need it. But wait, there's more. So,
but wait, this episode was already packed.
Still not done yet. So we get a great moment of Sam talking to Sisko, essentially. I can never tell you how much you mean to me, but I honor you. Avery Brooks, I can never tell you how much you mean to me, but I honor you. Like, because he taught at Princeton. I'm a Jersey boy. Princeton is about 40 minutes from where I grew up. When I tell you, I had dreams of like, hey, maybe when I went home from the holidays, it would just be driving around the area. Hey, maybe I'd run into Avery Brooks. And maybe just to be like, man, Avery, shake your hand. Thank you. I appreciate you. And if you never had the opportunity and just, probably never will, because that's just the way the world works and these things. But man, like, I wish I could tell it. Yes, I can never tell you how much you mean to me, but I honor you. And then we get Sisko's some VO from Sisko, which I do believe is new. I do not believe this is recycled audio. I believe this is new. We get Sisko closing out the episode with the quote, "Divine laws are simpler than human ones, which is why it takes a lifetime to understand them. Only love can understand them. Only love can interpret these words as they were meant to be interpreted." It then closes out with the words on screen, "Thank you, Avery," and hits the Deep Space Nine theme.
And then,
Mic fucking drop.
And then I was crying all over again.
Done.
Because he's not going to act again. But you can put a recorder, you can get some voice. And
which makes it that much more important because we know how he feels about the role. It's nothing bad. He just feels he has said and done everything needed to be done around the role.
But now he's done a little more.
And now
And
which
now
speaks to this. They
and
were able to get him to come back for this.
this to me felt like the lower decks moment of Mike McMahon getting Jolene Blaylock
Blaylock.
back. This was this series. That was this series moment. This was Starfleet Academy's moment, and to just see thank you Avery. We don't ever have to do D Space Nine ever again. I'm satisfied. That's it.
Star Trek from 60,000 light years. We normally go through series by series, but we're just enjoying some live Star Trek as it comes. Like, share, join our crew. That is one of the best episodes of Star Trek of all time. And again, it's Deep Space Nine-esque, doing the shit that Deep Space Nine would do. Like, anybody involved with this episode, hats off. Yes.
And then play us out on the DS9 theme. You guys did it. Peace out.
My God.